So it was just revealed that Baltimore Ravens absolute stud all-pro running back Derrick Henry spends over $240,000 a year on his body. Plus, CBS Sports names Baltimore as one of the top landing spots for all-pro cornerback Stephon Gilmore. And we got top-ranked offensive triplets, the Ravens making that list. A big-time media analyst doubting the Baltimore Ravens, which we're going to dive into, and much more Ravens news. So welcome in to another episode of Ravens Reports. It's your guy Noah here with For the Flock, as always, bringing you guys our top 5 news reports and storylines coming out of our Ravens today. And I can't wait. Check it out, guys. 22 days until the first Ravens preseason game of the year against the Philadelphia Eagles. Football man is back. Training camp's about to kick off literally in hours. The Texans already started. The Baltimore Ravens they got guys coming in the building, and we're going to start seeing clips coming out very soon, and I'm fired up for it, man. As always, make sure you got your subscribe and notification bell on so we can keep you up to date on everything Baltimore Ravens news and coverage, man. We're going to have you covered all season long, into the offseason as well. Let's dive into it. At number 1, let's talk about Emmanuel Echo talking about the Baltimore Ravens, calling them the 2023 version of the Philadelphia Eagles. He thinks that the Ravens are going to have a massive drop-off similar to what the Eagles did in 2023 after they were in the Super Bowl the year prior. He thinks that the Ravens have lost too much on defense, similar to what the Eagles lost on defense in 2023, and that the Ravens should not be feared. Here's what he had to say.
With the Ravens, and I say this with a lot of research, is I think the Ravens in 2024 could be the Eagles in 2023. I tried to tell Shady all of 2023, bro, the Eagles lost a lot on defense. Obviously, I'm a defender. I'm biased to defense. I'm biased to linebacker play. Shady, the Eagles lost their backers, bro. They lost both of them. Hey, Shady, the Eagles lost 10-sack Hargrave. Shady, the Eagles lost Epps, the starting safety. Hey, Shady, the Eagles lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He led the league in interceptions prior to getting hurt.
He didn't want to.
Hey, they lost but they returning a lot of dogs. Shady, but what about what they lost? When I think about the Ravens, y'all, I'm like, the Ravens lost Geno Stone, led the National Football League. They're second in the NFL in interceptions with 7. The Ravens lost Jadeveon Clowney, 9.5 sacks, second on their team. The Ravens lost All-Pro Patrick Crean. To me, last year, he was the 4th best linebacker in football. I voted him as an All-Pro, second on the team in tackles. The Ravens lost their defensive coordinator. Hey, the Ravens lost a lot. So where I'm at with the Ravens is I wouldn't be surprised if they had that Eagles 2023 season. Still very good. Remember, the Eagles started 10-1.
Right.
The Eagles just hit hurdles late down the stretch. Eagles had a quarterback in Jalen Hurts who was almost an MVP. Lamar Jackson was an MVP. I'm looking at this Ravens, and the concerns I have is like, man, them losses matter, y'all. Like, Clowney matters, Queen matters, Stone matters, and the DC matters. Y'all lost a pivotal piece on every single level. The D-line, the linebackers, the secondary. I don't know that the Ravens should be feared. They will be good, but not feared.
So with what?
Now, I like how he starts off saying by a lot of research, but maybe what he failed to include in his research is that the Ravens have a lot of talent that's been waiting in the wings for an opportunity to come out and play, like the 3rd-round pick from 2 years ago, Trenton Simpson, like Tavius Robinson, like Nate Wiggins, the 1st-round pick this year, who's considered one of the top cover corners in the draft. And the return of your stud all-pro linebacker, Roquan Smith, the all-pro safety, Kyle Hamilton, a healthy Marcus Williams. You got Justin Madubuike on the contract extension, a stud defensive line, up front with Michael Pierce, Broderick Washington, Travis Jones, like we said, Madubuike. And I think the offense could be even better. The addition of Derrick Henry, the 2nd year of the offense here with Todd Monken, a healthy Mark Andrews, right? So I think the Ravens, we could talk about it all day, but I'm just fired up to go see the Ravens go and prove a lot of these analysts wrong that say the Ravens, there was I think we talked about one last week that had the Bengals having 13 wins and the Ravens having 11 and dropping off and not winning the division. So there's a lot of doubt out there for the Ravens, and that's why it's so fun, because the game's got to be played, and we're getting really close, and I can't wait to see what our Ravens do and go out and prove a lot of people wrong. At number 2, speaking of some of the guys the Ravens lost on defense, I think it's very important to note that 2 of the Ravens' best defenders last year were not even on the team this time last year. Like, they were added during training camp and then during the season, and both Kyle Van Noy and Jadeveon Clowney, the 2, sack leaders at the edge position. So you can almost guarantee that there's going to be an impact player on the team this year, especially on defense, that's not even on the team yet. And one of those guys could be Stephon Gilmore. CBS Sports named Stephon Gilmore to be a top fit with the Baltimore Ravens, saying that teaming up with the two-time NFL MVP quarterback Lamar Jackson would allow the 12-year vet to remain in the Super Bowl hunt in his 13th season. Stephon Gilmore last year still playing at a high level. He allowed only a 60.3 passer rating as the primary defender in coverage last year, which ranked the 9th best in the entire National Football League. So that's the type of production and the performance he was putting up last year with the Dallas Cowboys in the secondary. And there's no reason to think that he still can't have another year of high-level production. And in fact, his quote said, "Honestly, I'm still being patient and staying ready until teams see what they have in training camp." But you mean to tell me among 32 teams that there are 64 starting corners that are better than me? I don't think that. If a team wants to win, I think they should sign the best players. I know I'm still a starter in this league. I started games last year, but the season doesn't start until September, so we got a while. A secondary including Brandon Stevens, Nate Wiggins, Stephon Gilmore, and Marlon Humphrey as your top 4 corners would just absolutely be disgusting. I do also want to remind you that Rocky Yassin and Ronald Darby played a lot of meaningful snaps for the Ravens last year, and they're both gone. So you want to be deep back there in the secondary. You can never have enough corners. And Stephon Gilmore, with some younger guys like a Brandon Stevens, like a Nate Wiggins, to help develop those two guys, plus, the other rookie and TJ Tampa, that would be some good veteran leadership and mentorship there. I just can't imagine a secondary with those type of high caliber corners, and then the safeties with Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams. That would be a fun prospect, not only for veteran leadership, give Stephon Gilmore a chance to go out and win a ring, but also just overall depth and versatility back there in the secondary to play different coverages, different looks and packages that, best fit the individual corners that you have and be able to utilize those guys like chess pieces. So let me know in the comments how you would feel about Stephon Gilmore coming to Baltimore. At number 3, it's revealed that Derrick Henry spends over $240,000 on his diet every single year. Let me go ahead and read what his financial advisor, Pete Kodos, had to say. He said that he estimates $240,000 yearly on body maintenance, which includes employing a personal chef who prepares all of Henry's meals. Henry eats no fried foods, gluten, dairy, or artificial sugars. And if you look at his body and the way he performs, this really doesn't come to a big surprise, but that's a lot of money. During the season, he doesn't eat his first meal until 4 or 5 p.m. and he only eats one other meal, usually around 8 p.m. In the off-season, his first meal is usually around 1 p.m., so he does intermittent fasting. When he does eat, he consumes nearly enough for a pride of lions. He says, "I probably eat 3 chicken breasts, some rice and broccoli. Then I have some gluten-free pancakes, scrambled eggs, diced potatoes, home fries, and some steak," man. That sounds like my type of meal, especially the latter part with the pancakes, the eggs, the steak, man. He says before practice, he might have kale, an avocado, or a banana to get something in his system. 3 days a week, he takes IV fluids that contain a shot of vitamin E, canozyme, however you say that, Q10, and other nutrients, man. So Derrick Henry does not play around with his body, especially what he puts into it. And he doesn't play around with how he trains his body because, there's always clips coming out of Derrick Henry working out like an absolute madman. And I remember watching this for the last few years before he was even a Baltimore Raven. Even whenever he was with Tennessee, man, he was always putting in the work, whether he was doing hill sprints or beach workouts or, strength training and agility, man. Derrick Henry does not play around. It's a big reason why he's had a Hall of Fame type of career. And the reason why he's still playing at a high level at 30 years old, his trainer said that he thinks this is the strongest Derrick Henry's ever been. At number 4, speaking of Derrick Henry, he's a big reason why CBS ranked the Baltimore Ravens as having the second best offensive triplet in the NFL. Last year, I think they were number 8 with J.K. Dobbins, Mark Andrews, and Lamar Jackson. This year, they're number 2 only behind the Kansas City Chiefs with Mahomes, Pacheco, and Travis Kelce. But this triplet with Lamar Jackson, Henry, and Mark Andrews is a pretty nasty triplet here. And, what's so crazy about this is it doesn't include a lot of the guys that are going to be big-time difference makers on the offense. So, like, yeah, your top three are amazing, but you also got some real weapons behind. Like, Zay Flowers isn't even part of this. He had 1,000 yards last year when you count the playoffs as a rookie, and this is the second year with Todd Monken and Zay Flower. Like, he's going to be a big difference maker. We also got Keaton Mitchell, who's going to be coming back from injury, who was an absolute dynamic weapon, a stick of dynamite with the ball in his hands. And then, Rashad Bateman and Isaiah Likely, and then Nelson Aguilar, and then the rookie Devontae Walker. So you got so many weapons back there for this offense. And I'd put my guys, my top three, over the Kansas City's top three, and I would say the Ravens are number one. But obviously, I understand. I can't be too biased here. Mahomes, what he's done has been undeniable, and Travis Kelce has been one of the best tight ends in football, maybe of all time, and he's been doing it at a high level for a long time. At number 5, Warren Sharp. He does a lot of great work on cap, analytics, all kinds of stuff. Really good follow. He lists the most expensive offenses in 2024. The Ravens fall into about the middle of the pack here, slightly below the middle of the pack. Ravens have the 18th most expensive offense in the National Football League. So slightly below league average as far as spending on the offense. And let me go ahead and show you the Ravens' top offensive paid players. So Lamar Jackson, obviously at number 1, a $32 million cap hit this year. And then next is Ronnie Stanley at $17 million. And depending on what happens this year with Ronnie Stanley and his health and his performance, this could be the last year. He's on the last year of his contract due to that restructure that we saw. And then Mark Andrews at $16.9 million this year with one of his biggest salary cap hits on his contract. And then after that, it's Patrick McCarry, who's the swing tackle. And then we got Justin Tucker at 5.8, Ricard at 5.1, Derrick Henry at 5.1. I do think that the Ravens are going to have a very high-paid wide receiver on their roster within the next year or two, because I think Zay Flowers is going to ball out and make himself a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver and a consistent threat for Lamar Jackson. I think that Zay Flowers is, when it's all said and done, within the next few years, he's probably going to be the most talented receiver that Lamar's played with. That's how I feel about Zay Flowers, the talent, the work ethic, and the capabilities that we saw on display last year. The amount of production as a rookie, I think Zay Flowers is in store for a 1,200-yard type of season this year, multiple touchdowns, and on the way to a Pro Bowl. That's my expectations for Zay this upcoming year. And I think that he's going to stay here in Baltimore and end up getting a big contract. But the Ravens landed 18th overall when it comes to offensive spending in 2024. But I don't think they're going to be the 18th best offense in the NFL. I think that they're going to be a top 5. Really, I think they're going to be a top 3 offense this upcoming year. Despite, having the 18th overall paid offense, they got a lot of young talent, and they got Lamar Jackson, who elevates and is a 2-time MVP for a reason. So, as always, man, if you guys got any value out of today's content, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. Don't forget, and do yourself a favor and make sure you got that subscribe and notification bell on so you don't miss any of our uploads, any of the Ravens news, any of the stuff we got planned for you. You're not going to want to miss it, man. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.